Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Tony Plays The Binding of Isaac. Hope everyone's doing good. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Unfortunate set of circumstances has afflicted me. I'd be thinking, Tony, how unfortunate are we talking? Are we talking like some loss of some sort or something, or like bad day? I'm gonna be real with you. Kinda, not really yes to both. One, I lost my sanity trying to build my friend's PC last night, or Saturday night. And two, I had not a bad day, but one, almost my entire Saturday eaten up by trying to help build my friend's PC. And then almost most of my Sunday spent house sitting, which wasn't horrible because I got to play a lot of Black Ops Zombies and stuff. So it was fun, it was enjoyable, but I would be lying if I didn't say I at least wished I was home, able to record Isaac and just like lay down and rot for a bit or something, you know what I mean? I still can, but like, it's complicated. Anyways, hope everyone's doing good though. Besides that, I will tell y'all the story in a second. I don't know. I just want to relax for a little bit, real quick. Just relax for a little bit, real quick, before I get into talking about the story and whatnot. Hope you guys are doing good. You know, I'm gonna be real with y'all. At least catching up on today, you know, besides the whole house sitting for 90% of the day. I'm doing good. I got Inscription because it's been long enough. I don't necessarily recall most of the game, if you're unaware. Couple years back when Inscription came out, I literally just watched my friend play it in its entirety. I then proceeded to watch another friend of mine, shout out Epog, another friend of mine play through the entirety of their, you know, I forget if he fully streamed the entirety of it, but he played through a decent chunk of his Inscription, and I watched him. And then another friend of mine, I watched play through their Inscription. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. I have seen 3 Inscription playthroughs. I have played myself literally none of it. And so it's more like an unfortunate circumstance where I was never able to play that game truly, what's the word I'm thinking of? Truly blind, you know what I mean? But lucky for me, I have really bad memory. Like really pretty bad memory. So I have decided, been long enough, I kind of forgot most of what goes on, or at least most of the, I know like all the story beats and stuff, which I guess kind of is annoying, but I have forgotten most of, what's the dealio I'm thinking of? Most of the, like, I guess puzzles, you know, solving things out. Or like, what do I need to do in what order? I've forgotten most of that, so at least I'll be able to enjoy myself on that aspect of it. I'm hoping to have a pretty good time with it, plus I'll be able to actually do the Casey's mod thing or whatever, which is like, it's the beginning part of Inscription, if you've ever played it. It's that first part of Inscription, but it's like been turned into like a full roguelike sort of deck builder. Which is funny because I usually hate that kind of game, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all, the aura, like the way it looks and it's presented to you, it makes me tolerate it for Inscription because I can tell it's not like a normal sort of game, you know what I mean? It's got aura to it, and I'm not gonna lie, the aura is low-key doing a lot of the work. In my opinion, in my interest of the game, the aura is kind of carrying a little bit. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lie with y'all. That sucks because I don't have anyone to sacrifice.
Range up.
Range up. But yeah, you know, I'm, what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm excited to hopefully actually play through Inscription for real. But I'm gonna be honest with you, It might have to wait a little bit because I am currently still trying to finish up Death Stranding. Once I finish up Death Stranding though, I was thinking I'll either A, finish up Killer is Dead, another Suda51 classic game. It's very fun actually. I got to witness my friend beat Killer 7, and honestly bro, that game is so goated. Watching him play through it again just kind of made me like realize in my heart of hearts, it's such a good game, bro. I don't think it's an obscure game either. I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh yeah, Killer 7, that's such an obscure horror game. That's such like a niche game no one knows about. I definitely don't think it's maybe talked about as much in like, you know, modern times. But I don't think it's like some uber niche horror, not horror. Why do I keep saying horror? I was watching Talk to Me yesterday. It's not like some uber niche game though, you know what I mean? Like it's pretty well known in like that niche community, you know what I mean? Speaking of, oh my god. There's this one thing that I have been seeing recently. I don't know if you guys have had either the pleasure or displeasure, depending on how you perceive it, of coming across these sorts of videos. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all, recently I have been getting a lot, and I mean a lot, of videos in my feed that are like, oh, my top 10 best games on TikTok or whatever, you know, stuff like that. Top 10 niche games, or like my top 10 games. And one thing I gotta speak on is that one, people do not know how to make a top 10 list at all, bro. I'm gonna be so real with you. People have no idea how to make a top 10 list. Might be thinking, Tony, what do you possibly mean by that? What could I mean? Let me tell you. In said videos, what ends up happening is someone's like, oh, my top 10 video games as someone who was born in 2001 or whatever, you know? And then here's what they do. Honorable mention number 1, Resident Evil 4. Honorable mention number 2, Resident Evil 2. Honorable mention number 3, Little Big Planet. Honorable mention number 4, Halo Master Chief Collection. Honorable mention number 5, Kingdom Hearts 2. And then they start their top 10 list. And I'm gonna be real with you, man. I just made up and I didn't make up names. I made up like games to put in the top 10. Some of those I don't think are top 10. But, you know, I'm just saying. It's like, brother, you're over here making a top 10 list, yet for some reason, I don't know why, you know, couldn't be bothered, I guess. 9 out of like your top 10, you list like 9 honorable mentions, bro. I'm gonna be so real with you. A part of me is like, huh? What do you mean this is your top 10 video games of all time? My brother, you got like, if this is your top 10, you're giving off like 8 honorable mentions, brother. Just make like a top 20 list or like a top 15. You know what I mean? Don't call it a top 10 if it's not gonna be a top 10. Oh, Tony, people have honorable mentions all the time in their top 10s though. Yeah, but there's just something crazy about being like top 10 video games and then having like 6, more than 1 honorable mention. You know what I mean? I would make a top 10 list and I would have the honorable mention be like 1 game. You know what I mean? I'd be like, yeah, this is my top 10 game list. Honorable mention shout out goes to this one game that I played a long time ago when I was younger. Very good. All right, now let's get to the actual top 10s. You know what I mean? It don't seem... Uh-oh. I just realized I wasted a bomb earlier. Oh, have mercy on my soul. It doesn't make sense to call something a top 10 and then you just list off like 8 other games, you know what I mean? It's just, man, like, I don't want to say it annoys me, but it kind of does. I'm gonna be honest, it kind of does annoy me because I'm like, bro, what do you mean this is a top 10? No, it is not. You called it a top 10, but obviously with your list, you didn't make it one. You made it like a top 30. I'm just listing off numbers, obviously, by the way. But it's just, it's so... What's the word I'm thinking of, man? It's baffling to me. It's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say here, overall, all in all. it's just a little baffling to me, I guess. You feel me? I don't know. It's just, I guess, a pet peeve that I've had with these TikTok top 10s. But another thing that I've been seeing in these TikTok top 10s that are like, I'm not gonna lie, a little crazy, a little, I'm gonna be real with you, a little insane, is recently I've been getting these videos where it's like top 10 niche games or whatever. And then I'm out here getting like top 10 niche games, Resident Evil 4, you know? Top 10 niche games, Bully. It's like, bro, these are not niche, you know what I mean? Like, these are very well known, some of these very well respected video games, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with someone making a top 10 and including their game, you know what I mean? It's like the bad take. Honestly, it's like the hot take discussion that I had a while back. I hate seeing people be like, oh, top 10 games, niche games, or, you know, here's my Isaac bad takes, or here's my Isaac hot takes. And then it's like the most lukewarm take you could ever think of, you know what I mean? Like, bro's just trying to, unironically, I'm not even joking when I say that, bro's trying to karma farm, you know? Bro's out here trying to farm just regular likes on his videos. And it's like, my brother. You know what? Yeah, let's top that off, as I say. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I'm just a little baffled. I'm just a little surprised, I guess is what I'm trying to say with watching these. It's annoying. Not necessarily like this man should be put down sort of deal, you know what I mean? Or woman, you know. I'm equal in my hatred. It's just, what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't know, annoying, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's just a little annoying to see sometimes, you feel me? Nah, come on, that's cheating, bro. False PhD, Dark Prince Crown. I think it works still? I'll say, I think Dark Prince Crown should still work just because, yeah, because I have that bone heart. Yes, that's good. All right, I never found my item room, so let's go search for that and then let's bomb our way out. But just, I don't know, bro. You feel me? Wait, did we ever find our item room? We got metal plate. Yeah, never mind. We did. No, that was last floor. We never found our item room here. We did. What? I thought we had Curse of the Blind, not Curse of the Lost. Oh, I amnesia pilled and it changed to Curse of the Lost. Oh my god, 1, I am actually a moron. 2, what? Okay, whatever. Well, yeah, honestly, I don't even care. Whatever. But yeah, bro, I don't know, man. I've just been seeing some of those videos. You know, they're not necessarily. They just don't be sitting right with me, bro. You know, I feel like a lot of people on the internet are being a bit disingenuous. You feel me? And I'd appreciate it if you didn't do that. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. You know, I'm not the kind of guy to be policing that, though. You know, I complain about something, but I'm not gonna be the guy that's out here like enforcing any of my BS or whatever. You feel me? I don't know. People just like to complain. So if you would be so kind as to let a brother complain. Well, so you better not hit me, bro. It's over. It's over for you, bro. It's your head if you hit me. Hey. Do I gotta like block shots from my heart? Hey. So annoying. Oh. Okay. But, you know, besides that though, I guess, you know, you feel me? Besides Tony yapping about literally nothing ever, now I think is a good time. I decided to chill out for a little bit, you know. Tony's venting about his frustration with TikTok, like a niche, quote unquote niche. Let go and move on. What does that do? Drops all Isaac's hearts but one and all of his pickles on the floor. Coins and bombs are dropped as the quarter and boom if possible. That seems good if I had, like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like a reroll machine. Not a reroll machine. Or I guess maybe a reroll machine. That would be good if I had a method of re-rolling items. You know what I mean? So I can change my money into items, essentially. You can't do this to me. Don't you know how much I've sacrificed? Oh, you can't do this to me. I started this company. Hey, come on, man. Stop messing with your boy, please. Oh, my heart. Why is, am I tripping? Why is this my, what's what I'm thinking of? Hold on. I just realized, I don't know why my brain did not register this. Why is the fool, question mark, why is that I like drop everything on the ground? Hello? Am I dumb? I feel like it'd be something to do with like TPing, no? I don't know. Maybe you guys can read a bit more into it than me. Maybe you guys will know the method or something. I don't know. Okay, but my bad. I got a little caught off guard with the Isaac run at hand here. Let me break it down to y'all, you know? Let me tell you guys about the beauty that was Saturday. So, I think I remember recording and being like, I'm gonna go to my friend's house in a bit just to go build this PC. Hopefully everything will be done real fast and easy. I'll be able to go home, record some Isaac, enjoy the rest of my day. And I'm gonna be real with you. It really seemed that way at first. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it was, I wanna say, a solid, what's the word I'm thinking of? Maybe 2.5 hours, all right? I get to my friend's place. I get there around 10 o'clock like I said I would, and I'm like, you know what, man? We're gonna do it. We're gonna have a good day. We're gonna take, hopefully, no more than like 4 or 5 hours. If I go to his place at 10, I can be done in like, at like 3 o'clock maybe, you know what I mean? In my mind, I'm thinking I can be done by 3. I'll be able to go home, and then I'll have the rest of my Saturday, you know? Unfortunately, I was too optimistic, I guess. So, takes me about, oh, let's say 2.5 hours. I have put the CPU in the motherboard, the RAM in the motherboard, the liquid cooler, which I have like 0 experience doing, you know, like working with. Actually, I have 1 bit of experience in that my uncle wanted liquid cooling on his. He wanted an AIO, so I'm like, all right. Trying to learn how to attach an AIO. Then, eventually, okay, everything's nice and said and done. Everything actually seems to be going pretty well. You know, RAM, CPU, M.2. I screw the motherboard into the case. Everything was actually going really good. In my mind, I'm thinking, hold on, man. 2.5 hours in, and everything is in. I think I might be able to just go home soon. You feel me? I might be able to just do a quick and easy. All right, let's just, you know, gather around. Let's do a quick double check. All right, install the graphics card, and we'll be done. And then I'm just gonna set up Windows for him, he can handle the rest. He's gonna go ahead and install his nice and lovely video games or whatnot, you know. In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm surprised. But I guess once you build enough PCs, you kind of get to that point. I'm like, I got his PC done relatively quick. I'm like, dude, sick nasty. Then the issue happened. I'm like, all right, we built his PC. Time to bring it upstairs onto his desk so we can plug in the GPU and just boot it up. Everything will be fine. This is where the big issue happens in. I try to plug in the GPU in his motherboard. Didn't fit. Why? What? Tony, the GPU's too big? It doesn't fit the case? No. It fits in the case literally perfectly fine. It didn't fit the motherboard because MSI decided, let's put our chipset at the bottom right of this motherboard here, and then let's give the chipset a very large heatsink in order to, I don't know, protect it, I guess. And so what ended up happening is, due to unfortunate circumstances, the GPU literally, I'm not even joking, quite literally, hold on. My bad, recording on a Sunday, you would think no disturbances, but unfortunately not. So, literally does not fit into the motherboard because of one heatsink sticking out at the bottom right of the graphics, not of the graphics card, on the bottom right of the motherboard, a heatsink that just sticks out just a little bit too far to where slotting the GPU in doesn't fit the latch in its entirety. So, essentially, I have a GPU that doesn't fit by the, like, I'm talking the most minuscule amount of space, like millimeters worth. It is just, it just won't work by the, like, the skin of our teeth, bro. Or is that how the term goes? Skin of my teeth or whatever? Skin of my rink? It literally just doesn't fit by the absolute bare minimum, and it's like, well, that's unfortunate. But we had a plan, you know? It was honestly, it was a huge damper because I was like, man, we're kind of cooked then, right? You know, like, aren't we just unironically done for? That's what I'm thinking in my brain. But then I decide, you know what? I have an idea. Let me see what people are saying. Hey, this guy was like, I had a similar issue in my build where I used this motherboard and it didn't fit. So what I did is I decided to get a GPU riser and just use that. I just used the GPU riser, aka, if you don't know what that is, it just turns your GPU, instead of being in the PCIe slot horizontal, makes it vertical. So, not necessarily, what's the word I'm thinking of? In my mind, I'm like, that's not maybe necessarily the greatest, like, feat ever, but you know what? Honestly, it's not the worst. So I decide, just F it, we ball. Let's go to the closest micro center, which is a 50-minute drive, because otherwise we're gonna have to wait a week. And I was just like, you know what? I think it's better off we just go and buy it. Things will be fine. So we drive all the way to the closest micro center, which is pretty far away. You know, 50 minutes is not nothing to scoff at, one might say. A 50-minute drive over to the nearest micro center, and finally we're there. We decide, all right, fuck it, let's go get a nice meal while we're out here. And I'm just, at that point, I'm like low-key tired. That's what my friends wanted to get like a decent meal, but I was like, you know what, man, I'm low-key tired. I kind of just want to get something fast and easy, we just get some fucking Taco Bell, you know, whatever. But I'm like, all right, everything's good though. You feel me? In my mind, I'm thinking everything's chill, bro. We about to be living lavish. We're just gonna do the nice and simple method of you just get. Let me deposit some money actually. And you know what, for Beelzebub, why not? In my mind, I'm thinking we're gonna do the nice and simple method. We're just gonna go ahead, slot in the riser, slot in the GPU, in the riser, and then just have to, like, you know, it was like a riser kit, so I just had to like configure the case slightly, and then bada bing bada boom, everything would be fine. Everything would be nice and dandy. Turns out, didn't happen, because slotted in the GPU, attempted to turn on the PC, nothing. And I don't mean like nothing as in PC didn't turn on. No, it turns on, but we can't see anything. No display. All right. Well, what can you really do? You know, no display, that's unfortunate, but in our mind, we're kind of like, all right, I think we got an idea though. Doesn't really matter, so I'll take the damage up in the meantime. Interdimensional baby? Yeah, sure, I'll take it for that boost right there. I wish I had a method of teleportation to at least get out of here. That would have been great. Because I would be able to grab Halo or Obsessed Fan and become Beelzebub. Is it even worth it? I'm gonna be so real with you. I want to, but I don't think it is worth it, man. You feel me? Like, there's a good chance we take a lot of damage, unnecessary at that too. Alright, so, but overall, you know, it's like, alright, well, due to some unfortunate circumstance. What? The door's open? That's very interesting, I can't lie. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm very surprised that the door was open. I didn't know that it was like that. But in my mind, I'm like, all right, man, GPU riser in. Let's try it. Oh, nothing's happening. And I'm neglecting to say the worst part of the story, in my opinion. Don't worry, I'll say it in a bit. So I'm like, man, nothing's freaking working, bro. All right. That's unfortunate. There's not really much you can do though, you know? I try maybe slotting into another HDMI port. Nope, doesn't work. We're trying his monitor, or like, okay, let's maybe try slotting into the TV. Nope, doesn't work. Try to slot it into integrated graphics that we're not even sure he has. Nope, doesn't work. At this point, we're just like, man, what the hell could the issue even be? And that's what makes it low-key all the more frustrating, is we don't have an idea of what the issue could be, or we have an idea of what the issue could be, you know, and I'm over here looking, I'm trying to do some research online, and things are people like saying like, oh yeah, you know, this LED means this LED means this. The motherboard is posting like the code 00 or whatever, and I'm just like trying to find out, okay, the manual for this motherboard says 00 does not exist as an error code. Alright, what am I supposed to do? Just, you know, F me, I guess? Someone would be like, Tony, it posted code 00? Oh, you don't know, bro. You're done for. Maybe, you know, I could be done for. I'm not aware. I wasn't aware of it beforehand, at least. And that's what makes it all the more, what's the word I'm thinking of? Annoying, you feel me? That's the part that makes it all the more annoying, is that I'm kind of just trying to figure out something, but I'm not getting any straight answers. You know what I mean? It's like it's being as annoying as it humanly can be. Humanly slash, like, you know, it's a what's the word I'm thinking of? It's not a human. It's a computer. It's hardware. As annoying as it can possibly be, and I'm just like, dude, I'm losing my mind. What is the issue? Nothing I'm looking up brings up anything. I'm just trying my best to figure something out. And then it hits me. Now, this is the worst part that I neglected to tell you. Might be thinking, Tony, what's up? When I initially opened up the box, he had initially pulled out all the PC parts for me to inspect and work with. I decided, let me check the pins of this motherboard. Everything looks good, no bent pins, everything should be fine, you know? Everything will be nice and dandy, it's gonna be a nice and easy build. I neglected to mention that it never came in its original box. When he gave it to me, I checked the motherboard and everything. I thought, okay, yeah, everything looks fine. But it was not the actual motherboard box. It was some random white box that had a receipt inside of it. I don't know who, but it had a receipt inside. I never looked because I'm like, oh, that's probably his receipt or something. I don't want to take a look at it. Had a receipt inside of it. It was a white box. And it didn't even have the antenna that is needed for the motherboard, you know? Like how you need an antenna if it's a board with Wi-Fi. Well, this board was one with Wi-Fi, no antenna included. It had the slot for one, but the antenna just didn't exist in the box, at least. So a part of me was like, man, that's gonna be something that annoying. Didn't realize that though until I was almost done with the build initially. Was, oh crap, everything's going nice and smooth. You know, all I need to do is just slot in the graphics card. Oh, and I need to put the antenna in. Let me check. Nope, nothing. Did not see the antenna anywhere. And that's when it all started to hit me. At the very once I didn't find the antenna, that's when it started to hit me a little bit, where I was like, yeah, there weren't any bent pins. However, one, I'm looking at this and I'm failing to see the antenna that's, you know, required. Two, hey, what's up with this being a white box? Like, it doesn't even have its own labeling. It's just like, literally just like a blank white box. And finally, at the very end, with the, you know, GPU riser installed, and I'm just trying to make it work. You know, at the very end of the day, I'm just trying to make, you know, trying to figure out anything that could work. The riser's installed. We're you know, dealing with this. No display, nothing. I'm even trying to like see like, is the graphics card working or something? There's not really a way for us to tell. Only then do I kind of think back and realize like, looking at it just from an objective sort of view, I think the motherboard might have been cooked off rip. I'm gonna be honest. Because one, when my friend ordered the parts, he ordered them all off Amazon, I believe, like through the PC part picker sort of shit. So part of me's thinking like, maybe because it's just ordered through Amazon on that, you know, it neglected to see if the seller is a good seller, or if it's even from the website. No, I believe it might have been just straight up from like a different seller, you know what I mean? It's not from MSI, it's from some random storefront or whatever. You feel me? You picking up what I'm putting down here? I'm like, huh. All of this is starting to be real interesting now. What's up with that? I took some really bad damage, and honestly, don't even like talk about it, bro. That was honestly atrocious damage. Not even really bad. That was like slime yourself out levels of horrible. And honestly, man, after everything, this is the killer. Besides that info of like, we got a maybe laced motherboard, you know what I mean? After all of that, it was like $950, and I'm just like, man, I just want to go home. Not even 9, it's like 9 something, and I was like, I thought this was gonna be easy, you know? In 2.5 hours, we were almost done with the PC build. I thought everything was gonna be great. This was gonna be a 2.5 hour build. I would have beaten a personal record of my own, you know? I would have beaten one of my own personal best times for building a PC. It would have been goated, but instead, I was left with a foul taste in my mouth of either A, I might have done something at the beginning of the build somehow that I neglected to realize and I have absolutely cooked my own friend's PC, or B, it was cooked from the start and I didn't even realize, nor could I have like really tried and found out or whatever. And it's unfortunate that I instead just kind of wasted both of our own time, you know what I mean? It sucks to think about. I'm gonna be so real with you. Just like thinking about it from like an objective or whatever perspective, I go into his place at 10 o'clock. I go to leave at 9 with potential like item failure or something, you know what I mean? It just sucks. It's genuinely awful. And I feel all at the end of the day, I feel really bad, you know what I mean? Like, I feel horrible about this to my friend. I'm like, man, I'm so sorry. One, I feel like I wasted your time. Two, I feel like what should have been a nice and fun, you know, I get to go over to your place, we get to build a PC, everything's gonna be nice and sick, it's gonna be cool, turned into a like hour-long endeavor of just trying to get something to work, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, nothing works, and we just kind of gotta tank it. You know what I mean? It's awful. It's just awful. Because I didn't even get him a finished product at the end, you know what I mean? At the end, he has a PC that doesn't work, and the unfortunate part is we don't have like a graphics card to maybe test to see maybe it's the graphics card that's bad, or a good graphics card to see if maybe the motherboard is bad, like a known working graphics card to see, hey, there might be an issue with the motherboard. There's no way for us to know, bro, you know what I mean? There's literally no way for us to know, and I'm just kind of stuck there twiddling my own thumbs like, man, I feel so bad. Let's just take our loss, or we'll just take our W while we're here. I don't know, man, it sucks. It's an unfortunate train ride of emotions that at the end of the day, the PC might not have even worked. But I'm gonna have to do some more testing with it at a later date. Probably next week when I have the time. There goes most of my weekend. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, I greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day and or good night, depending on the time of viewing this. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.